Welcome and happy Friday. Welcome to RMU Focus. I'm Ethan Morrison.
And I'm Colby Sherwin.
Let's talk about what happened last week on Focus. Last week, Colby and I talked to Cameron Macariola about sports and also had an in-depth discussion on last Tuesday's presidential debate. We also discussed the latest edition of Soma Soundbites. This week, we are taking a look at the different podcasts and radio shows that RMU Radio and Podbeam have to offer. Last week in Pittsburgh, the University of Pittsburgh football team suffered their first loss of the season after losing to NC State by a score of 30-29 at Heinz Field on Saturday afternoon. Sorgel's Orchards canceled many of its fall festival activities due to COVID-19, but there is still plenty to do and see, including apple and pumpkin picking and a socially distanced petting zoo. There will be fresh food and fall decor for sale as well. This event continues through Saturday, October 31st.
Last week, BNY Mellon held an informational meeting on Wednesday. Matt Valesky and other speakers spoke about how to save money. It was run by the Wealth and Management Department. The Toastmasters Club held a meeting on Wednesday. It was to test public interest in the club. You got feedback on your public speaking. And the ELS Club held a meeting on Tuesday. It was the second of the year. They learned about majors and where the members were from. Now let's see what Ethan has for us.
There was a visual held last night in the memory of Breonna Taylor by the Office of Multicultural Student Services. Let's take a look. RMU students gathered outside the gazebo last night for a candlelight vigil in memory of fatally shot in her Louisville apartment back in March. The Office of Multicultural Student Services held this event. There was singing and speeches during the vigil. They voiced their opinion on social change, and they made sure that the vigil did not discuss any political views. There was a message of hope and feeling that change will come. The Office of Multicultural Student Services' purpose is to create an environment where individual differences are embraced and possess an inclusive mindset. They seek to enhance the college experience for all Robert Morris University students by introducing them to the benefits of diversity. The service will strive to serve as a leader in the diversity and inclusion efforts in the RMU community, help the environment where students feel safe to be themselves at RMU, and they foster appreciation and awareness of other cultures.
Thank you, Ethan. That was really powerful.
Coming up after the break, I will be talking with Nate Breisinger to talk RMU and Pittsburgh sports and talk about our podcast, Baldwin in the Berg and Crunch Time, so stick with us.
All over. Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother and... I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Stand is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Good. Welcome back to RMU Focus. I'm here with Nate Brysinger. We're going to talk some sports and about our podcast. So Nate, we had our first live sports event yesterday. It was a RMU softball Colonial Challenge. It's the World Series Game 2 of it. We covered it. What were your thoughts on that?
You know, it was very exciting to get back out there and, cover some live sporting events. It's the first competitive matchup on campus since we saw the NEC championship game between Robert Morris and St. Francis at the event center. So it was really nice to get back out there, cover the teams. Even though it was an inter-squad matchup, there was still, a competitive feel to it. The two teams were the Hacking and Attacking and the Colonial Cobras. And, I thought those were really unique names that they decided to call themselves. And it's still, like I said, there was a lot of competitiveness. Hacking and Attacking ended up winning 5-2 in that game. So all around, it was a great experience finally getting back out there. The production, I thought from the production standpoint for Colonial Sports Network, it was a well-done job. And, looking forward to more games, upcoming.
It was a very, very good production by CSN. The main point of this game was Natalie Higgins hit 2 home runs in this game. Moonshots, to say the least. Hit one halfway up the hill. What did you think of, you talked about the competitiveness, but, as the game itself, did you think that they didn't really skip a beat in terms of they haven't competed since, the beginning of March?
You could tell there was, some shakiness, but, that's going to happen when you have that big of a layoff. But you mentioned Natalie Higgins just came in and showed why, she wanted to be back and why she's going to be a leader of this team. Hit 2 home runs, 4 RBIs on the day. She really, had the pop in her bat and showed this team that her and then Madison Riggle, another senior who had come back, that they're going to be, sort of lead this team into the Horizon League, the new conference that they're heading into, which will be very tough, a lot of tough matchups. But their experience and leadership, I think, can help. And Natalie Higgins' hitting ability, she led in home runs and RBIs last year. I think she can help take this team to the next level moving into the Horizon League.
All right, let's move on to the gridiron. So Chris King, the athletic director of Robert Morris, announced on 93.7 The Fan on Wednesday that they would be facing off against James Madison on February 27th in Harrisonburg, Virginia. So that's a huge matchup for RMU. They faced off in 2018, got walloped by a score of 73-7. But this is a completely different team. What are your initial thoughts on this matchup?
Bernard Clark has sort of, fine-tuned this team into a better overall team than it was a few years back. And I think this game's still going to be a tough matchup because James Madison is one of the best football teams in the FCS. But this will be a good sort of opening game, sort of a preseason game. Yeah, they might get crushed in the score, but it's definitely something where Bernard Clark can figure out who's going to be his reliable players on offense and defense, figure out who the starters are going to be, and who they're going to look forward to going into the Big South this year. So as of now, this is the only game scheduled, and who knows if it even happens, but I think as of now, you look forward to this game as being pretty pivotal and, sort of reintroducing the RMU football program back into the world of sports.
And in terms of the conference and moving to the Big South, they can actually compete in the Big South this year in the spring. They were originally supposed to compete as an independent, but because of the COVID shutdown and everything, they're able to compete in the Big South starting in the spring season. So how do you think they will fare? It's a completely different conference, more talented teams as well. So it's a completely different team, like I said before, but how do you think the Colonials will fare in the Big South this year?
I think it's good that they're stepping right into the Big South and they don't have that independent season. They're sort of not missing a beat. They're going to come into this league a much better conference than they were in the NEC. They're going to struggle a bit. I think Monmouth and Kennesaw State are two, really good programs in the FCS. I think those games are going to be really tough. And then they have Youngstown State, which is going to be a great rivalry right down the road in Ohio. It's going to open up to be, we're going to see how Bernard Clark takes this chance of playing in the Big South and see where he can take this program, if he can get it to new heights and potentially be a very big competitor in the Big South.
Thank you, Nate. Can't get enough of hearing Colby and I speak all the time? Then check out RMU Radio. You can find popular shows such as Crunch Time, hosted by Colby and I, Baldwin in the Berg, and Where's the News. You can listen to RMU Radio by downloading the radio Radio FX app on your smartphone or other devices to support the Student-Run Media Center here at Robert Morris. If you can't catch the live shows, download the Podbeam app to listen to the podcast version of the show. So Nate, as I just said, I'm a host of Crunch Time. You're on Baldwin and the Berg. You're a host on Baldwin and the Berg. So I honestly, in my opinion, think my show, Crunch Time, is a lot better than Baldwin and the Berg. Let me tell you a little bit about Crunch Time. It's an hour of just Colby, Cameron, and I just going after each other on multiple sports topics. It's a fiery discussion. We go after each other the whole 30 minutes. It's a great time.
You know, if you're going to spend an hour of your time, listening to something on the radio or podcast or on Podbean, you want to be sure to check out Baldwin and the Berg. I think, the discussions we have on the show, are really riveting, and we break down a lot of what's going on in the week of sports. Austin Bechtold, Andrew Gulvash, and I, we do a lot of focusing on the Steelers, NFL. Earlier today at 9:30 a.m. we went over the MLB postseason, NBA Finals, and one of our favorite news segments is the mystery caller, which I'm sure you guys don't have. We have someone call in who it's usually one of Austin's friends, and me and Gulvash try to guess on who it is, and it turns out to be a fun little segment that it is. But also another thing, we have a graphic that shows you when Baldwin and the Berg takes place. I don't know if you guys even have a logo or a graphic for Crunch Time.
We got an audio board. We got an
audio board. Okay.
Audio guy.
I still don't think anybody's going to want to sit down and listen to Crunch Time for an hour and waste their time, but rather listen to Baldwin and the Berg.
All right. We'll send it back to Colby. Colby, what do you have for us?
When we come back, we're going to have another great interview for us. Stick with us.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother and... I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Stand is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Welcome back to RMU Focus. Colby Sherwin is sitting down with an interview. Colby, take it away.
Thank you, Ethan. So I'm here with Celine, from the College Republicans. So what is your role?
I'm Secretary of College Republicans.
How long have you been a member?
Since freshman year, and I'm a senior, so over 3 years.
What's been the coolest part so far?
Probably the events. We've gotten to meet some high-profile politicians, including the president. We've been able to help on the campaigns of people who have ultimately won their elections, and we're able to go to a lot of events where there are some informative and fun and even controversial at times speakers that we definitely enjoy.
What is a normal meeting like?
Things have so the definition of normal has definitely changed as this pandemic has begun, but usually we we either have someone from local politics come in and speak to us and then discuss the logistics of, you know, how the subsequent events or meetings of our club will go. We don't have many general meetings because we're mostly doing things for other campaigns or holding events. We don't like to kind of just sit idly by for that long unless absolutely necessary to plan.
So last year in March, obviously the coronavirus pandemic happened. How did that change your meetings?
Well, we're kind of at the mercy of the administration's guidelines, right? So there aren't many things that we can do now that we used to be able to do initially, and we can't bring in live speakers anymore. What we've kind of at least flirted with the idea of doing is having a live audience, but having the speaker live stream their lectures or whatever they have to say into a meeting. We still correspond over emails and everything, and try to get students kind of plugged into different campaign efforts that can be in person, obviously with the proper social distancing and face wear, but it's definitely not as lively as it naturally came to be before this pandemic.
What is the biggest issue this election for the college Republicans?
I can't speak for the entire group. I can only speak for myself. So I think there's issues that each of us individually are the most passionate about. For me, it's the abortion issue. I would say that it is the most pressing human rights issue of our time, and I believe that no one is unjustified in voting on or upon that singularly, really. I think a lot of pro-life people get criticism for being a single issue voter in some respects, and I think the abortion issue is enough of an issue and enough of a discussion to base a lot of your vote upon. I can't speak for the other officers. I know they are all pro-life, but some of them you know, have a passion for gun rights or for a free economy. So for me, it's the abortion issue, but for others, it may be other things.
So before coronavirus, before you had to meet online and stuff like that, where did you meet before?
We just met in various rooms on campus. Again, we don't have many general meetings because most of what we're doing are events. So we've gone to a lot of conferences. We've gone to Harrisburg to see the former ambassador of the UN, Nikki Haley, speak, and are in a lot of political offices around the city of Pittsburgh just doing work for campaigns.
So how can somebody join the College Republicans?
Get in contact with us. We have an email, and we are on the RMU website in the student organizations page. We have contact information there that you can reach out to. We are in the process of planning events that will happen probably in the last few months of this semester and subsequently in the spring semester, because we are hoping we have a little bit more availability and privilege in terms of what we can do with the COVID guidelines in the spring.
So this will be the last question. Are there any big projects coming up for you guys?
Not really. I mean, the presidential election is less than 4 weeks away, so we're focusing on, I guess, helping out the Trump campaign in whatever capacity that we can. Obviously, there are other elections going on, but this is probably the most important one because it carries the heaviest implications. So I would say just, I don't want to call them odd jobs, but we definitely have different connections to different political PACs and campaigns that are helping the president to get reelected, potentially.
All right, that's all the time we have. Thank you for joining us.
Sure.
Ethan, take it away.
Thanks, Colby. That was a great interview. We're learning a lot about the college Republicans, and you should definitely go check them out. For the latest news, arts and entertainment, and sports going on around RMU, be sure to check out RMU Century Media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to stay up to date on all things happening around campus. You can check out the website at rmucenturymedia.com. Coming up after the break, RMU Radio's podcast, Where's the News, sat down with TV producer Rick Seaback for their latest interview. We'll show you a sneak peek of the episode right after this short break. Stay tuned.
sea race. Love is love.
What are you doing in there?
What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
you'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Make a plan today.
Welcome back to RMU Focus. So far, Ethan said what happened last week in Pittsburgh. I did the same with RMU. Ethan and Nate talked about RMU sports, and I talked to Celine about the college Republicans. There's still so much more going on left here on RMU Focus. Where's the News is a popular podcast here on RMU Radio. It is hosted by John Blinn, Nick Hedrick, and Garrett Roberts. The guys had a popular broadcaster, Rick Seaback, on the show. Here's the interview.
Hear it from you. How would you describe what you do?
It's funny because the very first article I ever wrote for Pittsburgh Magazine, which is really scary because it's probably 20 or 25 years ago, was called Why I Hate Nostalgia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just because I hope that what I do isn't nostalgic so much. Because I think nostalgic means that you're like pining for the way things used to be. I much more like to think of it as history. And I think the thing is, the way we learn history in school is primarily political or military, whereas really history is the history of everything. So the history of an amusement park or a hot dog shop or anything like that is legitimately history. So I'm not really pining for things that are gone, although I do miss the O, especially during the pandemic. I can't tell you how many times I think, oh, I'm just going to run down the O and get a hot dog. And you can't do that anymore. But, you know, I think I celebrate, you know, some of the things we take for granted here. I mean, I celebrated them first in Pittsburgh. Then we did a couple of statewide programs. We did the Pennsylvania Road Show and then Pennsylvania Diners and other roadside restaurants. So I was probably at QED about 5 years at that point. We always sent my shows. We sent Kennywood Memories, we sent, you know, Holy Pittsburgh, all to PBS, and they would always say, well, this is too local, too parochial. Only you people in Western Pennsylvania care about this. And then when I did Pennsylvania Diners, we sent that to PBS, and they said, you know what, it doesn't matter if you don't know these specific restaurants. Everybody knows this kind of restaurant. And they said, we're going to air it. They made me cut it from a 90 to a 60-minute show from a 90-minute show. But it aired nationally. And in that era, people still played a lot with their clickers. And I think as you click through and you saw the diner stuff, people stopped. We got really great ratings. PBS was really impressed with the ratings we got across the country. So they said, what else would you consider doing on a national scale? So I made a list of like 10 things that I thought would be good. And I think we may have done them all by now. Since then, since Pennsylvania Diners, and then the first two national, I did a national show about Fred Rogers first. That was really not connected to these others. But then I did Ice Cream and Shore Things, an ice cream show and shore things about, I say, non-environmental reasons why people go to the beach. You know, saltwater taffy and the boardwalk and that kind of stuff. And since then, we've sort of gone back and forth. local show, local show, couple of national shows. We tend to do at least 2 national shows at the same time when we do them to take advantage of the travel. So if you go to a city to get an amusement park, you'd also get a hot dog place. So that's the way we've done those things. So I feel extremely lucky. I just, to get to do this as a career has been really, I'm still trying to do it.
Welcome back, Ethan. That was super cool. What do you think?
I just liked hearing all the different insights and information that was told by Rick Seaback. I thought it was a very interesting interview. Colby, what did you think?
I think it's always cool to hear insights from a great of the industry, something here at RMU Century Media and TV that we can all take in since we're all trying to get into the business. But it was really interesting. I thought that was super cool that they got him to interview.
You can check out the whole interview and episode very soon. You can hear that all on Podbeam. Just download the Podbeam app and look up RMU Century Media on Podbeam. Are you a passionate RMU Colonial Sports fan? We just have the place for you. Colonial Sports Network is your home for everything Robert Morris Athletics, from Joe Walton Stadium to the UPMC Event Center, North Athletic Complex, and over on the island. The writers and video crew at CSN will keep you up to date with the latest news and highlights as RMU makes their transition to the Horizon League, MAC, and the Big South.
When we come back, I'll be giving my what to watch. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
I was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back to RMU Focus. My what to watch this week is sports. Tonight you have 2 big games, as in the NBA you have LeBron James and the Lakers look to win their 16th title, and Jimmy Butler and the Heat look to stop that. And then in baseball you have a Game 5 winner take all, as Garrett Cole and the Yankees take on Willie Adames and the Rays. And don't forget about college football this weekend. Now let's see what's going on RMU's campus.
Today, at 3 to 4 o'clock, join Res Life for some Frisbee golf on the Nicholson front lawn with C.A. Andrew. Frisbees will be provided. It is beginning to look like fall. Res Life is also hosting sweater weather bingo at the Washington Hall parking lot on Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. Join Residence Life staff for a day of fun with the chance to win a prize.
This week in Pittsburgh, you have the Steelers and the Eagles fans will be allowed back in, as it is a first place battle between the 1-2-1 Eagles and the 3-0 Steelers. Also, Kennywood is going to start having happy hauntings will begin tomorrow. Ride all your favorite rides with a fall and Halloween twist, and even get some pumpkin spice. Don't miss out. And tonight there will be Haunted Pittsburgh cruise, hear haunted Pittsburgh stories, and go down the Pittsburgh rivers. Find out if the Monongahela River monsters are real.
Colby, we're going to have to cut you short. Thank you for watching RMU Focus. We will see you next week.
See ya.